from New York. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Now, Rosenberg, did you see Colin Kaepernick's post yesterday?
I did.
He basically put up a picture of a badge. One of the badges was a runaway slave officer badge. The badge, I guess from a
it says Runaway Slave Patrol, yeah.
Yeah, where, you know, the police in this country were originally policing runaway slaves about 100 some odd years ago. And, well, actually more than that. Let's call it 150 and more. And so he put that badge up, and next to it a police officer's badge, a current badge, generic badge, and basically said, what was his quote next to it, Rosenberg?
Well, on the actual graphic, it says, "You can't ignore your history. Always remember who they are." That's what it says next to the badges. He then added, "A system that perpetually condones the killing of people without consequence doesn't need to be revised. It needs to be dismantled." I have no problem with that. I don't think anyone will really have necessarily that strong a problem with that. The only thing about this thing that made me cringe at all, just in terms of how it will affect him, was the "always remember who they are" line. Just because I think
I'm on his site right now. I don't see it on his IG page.
It was on his Twitter.
Oh, it was on his Twitter.
Yeah.
And your concern with him putting that is what you think the NFL is giving him an opportunity?
I don't know. Well, two things. There's two layers to it, right? There's the one layer of like hoping that he gets an opportunity. This is not going to help that obviously. And then there's also just the part of me that like wants to have people who are outspoken on issues deliver the message correctly. And I love part of this message, but I don't like referring to one group as "always remember who they are." That's
like
not,
they're all bad.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just not fair. It's not fair, and we live in a volatile time. And I certainly understand being upset about Philando Castile, but that specific language is dangerous. Referring to a whole group as they, that's how we got here in the first place.
But I'm going to go back to what I said several months ago, right? You're one, and we talk about this. We're expecting common, regular folks to understand these nuances. And we said this to the NYPD. I was like, you guys have jobs where you carry a gun and a badge, you know the laws. That is your job. Your job is to understand the nuances. And you guys don't even understand the subtle community nuances of why people are angry with you. You're expecting them to give you a pass. You should be the one understanding what people are going through every single day, just trying to be alive. And you should be that person. We're expecting you, the upholder and enforcer of the law, to be better than us, not to be worse than us.
Agreed.
That's the issue. The issue is people employed by city, state, local, whatever government, federal governments are sometimes worse than an average citizen catching a bus. Like a regular person. That's the problem. So I don't feel bad when they get lumped all together because they don't speak up. Just like somebody doesn't feel bad when we get lumped in when Funk Flex doing some dumb ish. They don't feel bad for us. They're not supposed to. They're regular people listening to the radio. They don't feel bad.
I mean, it's a little bit different, though, because it doesn't put a target on our back when we're on the street.
Oh, target's not on your back when you don't play one of these rappers' records and they want to step your ass outside?
I can handle an aggressive email, though. That's different than, you know what I'm saying, when these cops, for example, the ones that got shot in the city a couple years ago were minding their own business, someone comes up and says, "Oh, where are the police officers?" and walks up and shoots them in the middle of the day. You know what I'm saying? We have to recognize that part, that their job ultimately is to protect us. Mm-hmm. Guys, I'm not changing my stance that I've had from the very beginning. Yesterday, when I had to go on Sports Talk Radio, I thought, how am I going to defend what Colin said? Mm-hmm. And I looked at it and I was like, damn it, I wish this post was a little different because this is tough for me to defend. That's just all I thought.
I got you.
That's me being just totally honest. It's not that I didn't agree with the sentiment. I did. But there is room for nuance in these conversations.
There is room for nuance.
We have to do that.
There is room for nuance. But I salute Colin Kaepernick because Colin Kaepernick is standing his ground just like he wants to and upholding what he wants to stand for. It's not up to you to defend it, bro. You're not going to be able to defend everything, and you're not supposed to agree with everything. Like, we love Colin, but you don't have to agree with him.
But I feel sometimes the obligation, because I do agree with his general message, so I want to support it. And then I'm like, when an argument gets more complicated, it's like, damn, this is a little bit harder. to navigate because
Just
people
I
are stupid.
I don't agree with. I don't completely agree with this statement. I understand he's pissed. I get where he's coming from. Yeah, the origins of police officers and policing in this country is based on capturing slaves, and here we are 150 some odd years later, and police are still shooting black people with their family in the car.
I mean, absolutely, and that's insane.
Like, that's insane, bro. And it's not the NYPD. This is in Minnesota, right? NYPD is out here trying their best, meeting with us, like giving us the respect that we're somebody that they need to meet with to communicate to the community that they're doing work. I appreciate that. That's something that would have never happened in the past.
Agreed.
Where they would have valued black and brown and Jewish people on the radio speaking across a hip-hop radio station in New York City. They brought us in. It was just us. It wasn't a media day.
Yeah.
It was just us. That's it. There was no cameras, nothing.
Ebro, you want to let's take we have a couple of calls real quick. You want to take a couple?
What do they have to say? I don't know if I want to talk to them.
No, I think you'll like them. I think they're two opposing opinions. Let's go to line one. Let's go to Beezy from Queens. Beezy, what were you trying to say, bro?
Yeah, I was trying to say that basically, Rosenberg's talking about you can't just say they and lump everybody all together. But at the end of the day, until the ones that aren't doing that come out and come forward against the ones that are, so you know what? Then they all are there. Because if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem.
Fair. Hey, Beezy, I think that's a good point. That's the kind of thing that Shawnee's been saying over and over again. It's like when, and we've all been saying that. When are you going to come out and take a stand? You know what I mean? And it seems like these police unions never want to come out because they feel pressure to say anything about any other cops.
Right.
So, and then on line two, Ebro, we have Anonymous from Brooklyn. You're a black cop. Talk to us, officer. What are your thoughts?
Good morning, fellas. Good morning. First of all, I just want to say this. Like, I understand where you're coming from, Ebro, but I'm be honest. It's very frustrating to hear this conversation over the radio. Rosenberg, I hear what you're saying, too, and I appreciate your commentary. But check this out. Lumping all of us together. And a lot of things Kaepernick says I support. But it's very, very difficult for me. I grew up in Coney Island, right? And my two brothers, one is incarcerated, and I'm be honest, it's his fault. It's his fault. It's a D-boy. It's his fault. My other brother got killed doing the same thing. I took a whole different route, and I saw what they were doing, and I decided to do something different. Become a police officer. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everybody is good. Cops are not robots. We're not programmed to do what one person says and just go forth with that. You're still entitled to your opinion. But the public looks at us like we're some robots. Like one does something and then we all do it. That's not true. But it's just as you have one organization that does something good for the community, you tell me where the media sheds light on that. Do you know how many officers out here have so many programs that are doing positive things for the community? You're never going to hear about it. But one derelict cop does something stupid to someone, and we're all inflamed with this big target. So I understand where the frustration comes from. But I have a family. I have a family too. No one cares about the fact that I have a family. But I'm so tired of everybody Monday night quarterbacking on opinions, saying exactly what you would have did based off of one person's opinion. Blah, 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 blah. I understand what you're saying, Ebro, about the things Flex does and everyone holds you accountable. I get that. But no, it's not the same with this target on your back from a rapper. This is real. Two officers sat in the car, and because somebody had some frustrations or ill will about something, killed those men. And it has nothing to do with race. It's the fact that they had a uniform on. Mm-hmm. Those two fellas have to grow up. Their kids will never see them again. I am not a robot, and I do the best I can every day.
And here's the part. It's not appreciated. But how about this? Neither is the fact that we're having this conversation on the radio right now, and this is something that people want to have, and we're having it on Ebro in the morning. It's not appreciated. Nobody's appreciated. Nobody, nobody's. Yo, my man. Philando Castile's family in the car was not respected. B. And that's not the NYPD. That's not the NYPD. But the problem is, no, fam. The problem is that officer that shot that man was able to get off with, I was scared for my life. Yo, doggy, you signed up to be a police officer. That's a part of the job.
Right, but you're talking to me as if I'm the one who did it.
No, because you decided to call. You decided to call.
But what I'm telling you is, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, even as a police officer, that I agree with that. I don't. I do not agree with that. I've looked at this case up and down, but I didn't sit there and grand jury. I don't know what happened. But I'm telling you from the video I've seen, do I think it's right? No.
What do you think the consequence should be for that?
No, I would have not.
What do you think the consequence should be for that?
But do not group me in the same category as everybody. Like, you can't put us all in the same category. That's not right.
So
I think what you're asking me to look, you're asking me. I don't put you all in the same category, and that's me. But I'm speaking for people that can't tell the difference because of how they get treated in their neighborhood. I'm speaking for people who in their neighborhood right now get lumped in with the bad people that are just standing outside because in their neighborhood there are bad things happening and they're just young and happen to be in the neighborhood, and yeah, I went to school with those people. I don't know those people, but I get lumped in with them, or the cops treat me similar as they treat someone doing a negative thing, but I'm just walking home from work. That's what I'm talking about. So people.
Well, guess what? I grew up in Coney Island, Brooklyn, and I wasn't always a police officer. I went through the same thing. And
so you know why people. So then you know.
Hold up. But I said, let me figure out a way to change it. You have to have progression, right? So the thing is, how do I succeed in changing people's minds? All I can do is what I can do. I speak to these kids in my neighborhood or the place that I patrol every day, and they know me for being one type of person. I don't want recognition for it. I just want the neighborhood to see that we're all not the same.
Well, you need to talk to your coworkers, bruh.
Oh, no, it's a lot of us. I'm not going to tell you it's one. It's a lot of us.
Of course. Hey, officer,
but you wouldn't know that.
Well, listen.
I do know that.
Ask you this.
I do know that, but I'm not going to get what I'm not going to do. And I told the NYPD this, and I told Jimmy O'Neill this, and the commissioner NYPD did it. What we're not going to do is we're not going to get on the radio and act like we just going to feel sorry for everybody. The same way when gang members get rolled up in the hood and I get on the radio and I be like, yo, fam, you shouldn't have been out there terrorizing your community selling drugs. Oh, well. Or someone goes to jail for a federal gun charge because they was carrying a gun. You knew you wasn't supposed to be carrying a gun. Oh, well. And the same way I'm going to have that conversation is the same way I'm going to have a conversation where it's like, yo, check this out. You decided to help our community and be a police officer. Well, there's stuff that comes with that. Do we want it to be better? Absolutely. But the expectation of you with that uniform, that badge, that gun, and the reality that you can make a mistake that may end in someone's life being lost and you don't have to go to jail like I would have to go to jail means that you have a bigger responsibility. And for you to call, like the officers call us all the time, yo, it's hard for us. We know it's hard, doggy. You're a cop. It's very hard. And you know what makes it even more hard? And we had this conversation, too, with the commissioner and everyone else. It makes it harder when there ain't no jobs out here. It makes it harder when the MTA is raising the fares to get on and off the goddamn train. It makes it harder when the bridge and tunnel tolls is going up. It makes it harder when it's hard for a mom to get daycare, et cetera, et cetera. All that adds frustration in the community. And you know who that falls on? That falls right on the laps of the police officer who are right there on the front lines with the community every day dealing with it. We realize that, but that's the job.
Acknowledging that. That's all I'm saying. I appreciate you acknowledging that. I'm not looking for sympathy here, and I really don't think a lot of people who are police officers are looking for sympathy, right? I appreciate you just announcing the balance. That it's hard on both sides, but somewhere along the way, all this pointing fingers and you did this and everybody did that. Everyone's not the same.
Well, thank you very much to that officer. That was a really interesting call, Breeze.
And back to when he sees a black and Spanish person.
All right,
what exactly are they wearing, though?